Hey everybody, welcome back to Sensei Steve Says, hosted by Shiage Do Martial Arts. Today we're going to work on strengthening your hand and your fingers to help make your karate a little bit stronger. When you're doing karate, one of the things that's really important is to have good hand position and good hand strength so that when you're doing your strikes and your techniques, no matter which one you're doing, the chances of you hurting yourself are diminished. So the things we're going to work on today are some finger strengthening, some hand strengthening, and some conditioning stuff. And I'll give you a couple of traditional cures for toughening up your hands. So the first couple that we're going to work on are just finger strengthening. Okay, I love these a lot because they're simple. You can do this with anything really that has any kind of weight to it. I like using kettlebells personally. But all you're going to do is let it hang and then make a fist. Let it hang and then make a fist. All you're doing is just practicing and strengthening the muscles in your hand to get stronger and stronger. They make those grip strength things. Unfortunately, I don't have any here. They're all still at my dojo, but they sell those in all kinds of different weights. I love those things. A lot of times I'll leave one in my car just so that if I'm driving or whatever, something that doesn't necessarily need two hands, because I'm not driving like a maniac, it's something that I can work on. Or if I'm just waiting for something to happen or watching television, you can sit there and you can do hand strengthening without any kind of special whatever. And you can do that in a couple ways. You can do, I like doing the 1, 2, 3 method, the grip, hold, for a count of 3 and then release. So it goes 1, 2, hold, 1, 2, 3, release. That's going to build the quick muscles and the slow muscles. The slow muscles, your holding muscles in your arms to help build that kind of strength. Another thing that we've talked about here before are, they're called nigirigame in Japanese. They're your gripping jars. You can do this with any number of a bunch of things. One of the things that I found works really well is to take 2-liter pop bottles, and then you're going to grab it by the rim, and you just hold them out. All right, so if I got 2 of them, right, I'm going to hold on to them. These work great. With these, what you want to do is you're going to swing them, right? They can be big whole arm swings. They can be little wrist flips. Right? You can hold them out at full extension and try to swing them, right? But what that's doing is it's building your grip strength. And what you're focusing on is when you start, you're going to grab around the rim here. And then as it goes on, what you'll do is you'll hold on to just the cap itself. And you'll dig your fingers into those little ridges around the cap itself. And it'll give you some increased finger strength and grip strength holding on to that. Now, if you don't have any tools, you can still work on your grip strength, okay? So one of the best ways to do it is isometrics. I love doing these. These you don't need anything special for, so you can do them anywhere. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with your fingers just locked together like an S and curl them together. Hold for a count of 5 and then let them out for a count of 5. You're going to hold on to it as long, or you're going to let them straighten as much as you can so that you can still put force on them. And what I'm doing is I'm engaging my back muscles to pull my hands apart, and that's giving the resistance, right? So I'm going to give as much resistance as my hands can handle. I hold it for a count of 5 and I release. I hold it for a count of 5 and I release. And then I kind of shake my back out, and then I might do it on the other side. Isometrics are awesome because you don't need anything special for them. All you're doing is providing your own resistance. So you can do that. Another one that I really like working on is fingertip push-ups. Now with fingertip push-ups, you want to work yourself up nice and slow, okay? I'm going to start with being on my knees and doing the push-ups. When I'm doing fingertip push-ups, my goal isn't to work on my push-up. It's to work on my finger strength. So when I'm working on my fingertip push-ups, what I'm going to start with is getting my hands in a good spot. What I don't want to do is lock my fingers backwards where my knuckles are trying to bend backwards. I want to kind of curl my fingers out so that I'm using the actual muscles of my fingers instead of just resting on the ligaments. So from here, we start nice and easy. Just do knee push-ups to start. Push up, hold, let down. Push up, hold, let down. Now as your fingers get a little bit stronger, as you get more used to it, you can try picking up maybe a pinky or your ring finger and just doing it on 3. Or you can work on ones, 1-and-1s, which are finger and thumbs, or you can do just thumbs, or however you want to do it, right? You can work your way up. You can do 2 fingers, you can do 3 fingers, any number of fingers you want, but start with them. The goal is to keep your fingers a little bit bent for when you're doing these so that you don't hyperextend your fingers. Now again, the goal isn't necessarily to have good push-ups. The goal is to put pressure on your fingers. So if you're doing good push-ups, but you have bad form in your hands and you're hurting your fingers, that's defeating the purpose, okay? Another good one for these are knuckle push-ups. If I'm on a knuckle push-up, I've got my wrist nice and straight with the ground. I'm up on my top 2 knuckles, my striking 2 knuckles, right? These I should be able to do on my feet with good push-ups also, but if you've never done these before, start on your knees just to build a little bit of wrist strength to go with your hand strength, right? Then you work up to full push-ups, right? But start with the easy stuff, right? Get your hand position correct first, then worry about the actual workout part. So another thing you can do to work on your hand conditioning is to get something like this. Now this is just a bag of rice. I bought it at the supermarket. This is Jasmine Dragon, Imperial Dragon rice. It comes in a nice sturdy bag. You could do this with potting soil or something like that to start with, depending on what kind of bag it starts in. Those cheap plastic ones that you can put your hands right through, I wouldn't start with those. But the rice bags tend to work really well because they're designed to be storage bags. Dog food also works. The thing is, if you do it with rice, you can still use the rice. If you do it with dog food, you're going to turn it into mush. If you do it with dirt, you can still use the dirt, but it might not stand up as well unless it's got one of these really nice bags, like these it's kind of like a 8mm contractor bag kind of material. All right. So from here, with these, all you're going to do is just slap. So it's slap, palm, slap with the back of your palm, slap with your palm, slap with the back of your palm. And then when you're doing this, you're going to work your way up harder and harder as you go. And it's just a slap. So all that slap is doing is just helping you get used to the pain of, basically it's a slap, right? It's activating all the nerves on the back of your hand. And because this is rice, and there's a give to it, obviously I can, move this around. There's a give to it. It kind of molds to your hand and hits the whole thing. So this works really well. Basically you just sit here, slap, slap. This is from, honestly, this is a Chinese drill. This I got from watching the Shaolin monks. But doing it with the rice works spectacularly. Now, once you start conditioning your hands, you're going to notice a couple things. Another thing that traditional karate people like using, it's called a Makawara. A Makawara is it's literally just a striking post. And what it is a board that's secured to the ground on the bottom. It's got a little bit of a leather pad to it. And when you punch it, the board comes out and slaps you back in the hand. So you start light and it comes out and back. And what it does is it toughens the skin of your striking your knuckles. Now the goal here is not to not do it until you bleed. What happens is you'll create blisters. If you start creating blisters, that's when you need to stop. Okay. If you've actually formed a blister, you've gone too far, because as soon as that starts ripping open, instead of getting calluses, you're getting scar tissue. Scar tissue is not what you want. It takes much longer to heal. It's much more fragile. It isn't proper skin, so its connections to everything around it isn't as good. But calluses are much better. Calluses are the things like if you do a job for a long time, you start building them up. You will get calluses on the back of your knuckles. If you've ever seen pictures of the old masters where they were just punching the Makawara all day long, they get these big, gross-looking calluses over their knuckles. I'm not suggesting you go that far. You don't necessarily need that just to not break your hand in a fight. But you will notice that the skin on your knuckles starts to change based on the ones that you're hitting with most often. Now you can also, if you're doing a Makawara, if you don't have a Makawara, one of the things that works really well is to take jute twine, which you can buy anywhere, wrap it around something hard. If you're doing it with a tree, make sure it's a dead tree. If it's a live tree, when you wrap it, make sure you unwrap it every time you're done. Don't leave that wrapping on there. That's how you kill a tree. It's called girdling. Look it up. You don't want to kill a tree for nothing, right? If you've got a tree that's already dead, that's easy. You can wrap it up, do whatever you need to. You can leave it out there forever. A tree's already dead. You can't hurt it more, right? But if it's a live tree, please don't hurt live trees. There's no good reason for that. There's enough dead ones out there to go find. But what you do is you're basically doing the same thing. You're just going to punch into that, and it's a coarse, rough material, and that one will help you with forearm conditioning and stuff like that, and it's going to help toughen up the skin on the inside of your arm. Now, when I get back to the point where I said with the blisters, when you start getting to the point, your skin will be really red, and right before it blisters up, it'll start to slip. The outside of your skin will separate. The outer layer of your skin will separate. It's right before blisters form, okay? You need to stop just before that, okay? It'll start getting red. If it's slipping, you've already gone too far. You need to stop. Then what you're going to do is you're going to treat your hands. If you don't have anything, you're going to rest them, okay? Let them heal completely. It'll take probably 2 days. The farther you push it, the longer it will take them to heal. If you get to blisters, it'll take 4 or 5 days to heal the blister. If you get to tears, it'll probably take 2 weeks. Okay, so that is a period of time where you can't be training, and you don't want that. So make sure that you stop at appropriate times. It's not going to take very long. All right, you can do it again. You could do punches against the canvas bag. If you've never done punches and stuff like that, you're going to get to that point really fast. Okay, and while you're healing, you can still do stuff with hand wraps or whatever. Just make sure they're wrapped up properly, wrapped up nice and tight, so that you're not further damaging the skin on your hands. Now, to treat your hands, you have a couple options. You could just let them rest, where they'll heal on their own. The cheapest option is to treat them with tea. So if you let your hands soak in black tea, basically what happens is the tannins from the tea, it's the same exact process as tanning a leather hide, right? If you're tanning a piece of leather or something like that, it's literally running it through, treating it with tannins and other chemicals to make the skin tougher and harder, so that it stays useful longer, right? That's how they make shoes and coats and anything out of leather, belts, right? You can do a similar process to that with just tea, where you soak your hands in black tea. You want it to, the stronger the better, but the tannins in the tea will help change the blistering into calluses. All right, it encourages that growth. That's an ancient secret, not really secret way of doing it, but it's a great way of treating your hands and stuff. They also don't smell bad when you do that. They smell like tea, which obviously isn't that bad. You don't need anything special with the flavored teas, just Lipton black tea. You can buy 1,000 bags for like $5, and it's a great way to work on getting your hands for nice conditioned for nice cheap way of doing it. Another thing you can do is called Diet de Jiao. It's a liniment. Basically, it's a couple of herbs and oils and stuff, and it does effectively the same thing. It focuses on tannins, and the tannins you use to help condition your hands. Not necessarily deaden the nerves, because everybody's like, oh, deadening the nerves is bad for you. It's not necessarily like destroying them. What it is it's just causing there to be more callus and stuff between the outside of your skin and your nerves. So you're not killing your nerves, you're more trying to just make them less sensitive, because there's more stuff in between them. All right, that'll make your hands a little bit stronger, more impervious to pain and stuff because you have that callus there. So in all reality, putting stuff like that on your hands after you're doing stuff with any kind of hand conditioning is going to help increase the benefits that you were already getting. Okay, it helps speed it up, speeds up your healing a little bit, so you don't necessarily have to take it as far every time. With that, I'm going to leave you guys for today. A couple quick announcements. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. We've got we're going to be doing our class out in the park, our Zoom class out in the park. So if you're one of our Patreon members, make sure you tune into that. We've got our 30 and 30 challenge is coming to an end. I need your numbers if you guys are one of my students by the end of this week so I can do the drawing to see who wins the limited edition t-shirt. So that's going to be really cool. Other than that, we're still waiting to see what the governor says on us reopening, so make sure you stick around and pay attention to that. I will obviously let you guys know when I know what that means. With that, that's all I got for today. Get out there and get after it. You guys are dismissed.